What are my thoughts on New World Closed Beta?
This has been my question that I've received a lot. What are my thoughts on New World Closed Beta? What are my thoughts on New World? What are my thoughts on New World Preview? Do you think it'll be a good game? Do you think I should play it? Do you think I should wait? Should I pre-order it now? Been getting a lot of questions like these, and I just want to kind of touch on the things that I enjoyed in the game and the things I didn't. I've been playing the game a lot. I'm level 60 in the game now. You can see my life skills here. Level 60, weapon mastery. We have weapon mastery 20 on hatchet, 15, 16, 13. I didn't try out all of them, but tried out a good amount of them. Trade skills, I'm 200 logging, 200 mining, 200 tracking, 192 harvesting, 200 woodworking, 200 smelting, 181 engineering. I have literally gone through and tried to accomplish as much as possible in the closed beta. And here we are. How is it? I gotta say, I think the game is going to be an incredible game for the first 200 hours. No matter how hard you play, who you are, like what kind of games you like, and stuff like that. If you're an MMO fan in general, and you like the atmosphere of like a Destiny style game, or you like the atmosphere of like a grindy type game like BDO, the first 200 hours of New World is going to be amazing for you. There's tons of content. There's always something else to work on, something else to achieve. You can always work with a company, right? Your friends. If you don't have friends, you can join a company and make friends. There's lots of people who are trying to like make alliances, get people to play, trying to get people to fill different positions. I need a leather worker. I need a stone worker. I need a weaver. I need someone doing cooking. I need someone making furniture. I need someone making jewelry. There's something for everybody out there, and it's been truly an amazing experience in New World Closed Beta. I think that, like I said, first 200 hours is going to be amazing for just about anybody. There are some major downsides to the game right now. So I feel like without talking about those, we can't have a good understanding of where the game's at. There's something in the game currently called territory, faction points. Basically, when you join the game at level 10, you have to choose a faction. You have to choose the Covenant, the Marauders, or the Syndicate. These factions have a faction store, which you earn points by playing the game in PvP or doing faction missions. And you can basically buy gear from this faction vendor that invalidates all of the gear in the game until you are about 200 hours in. And so basically the entire game right now is level up, do faction stuff, get faction gear, and then you're ready to PvP. And unfortunately, that is not the most fun way to play the game. So that is a pretty big downside. And you don't have to play the game that way. You're not forced to. But it is a very big oversight from the developers to leave that type of thing in the game. I think the faction store should just be removed from the game for now. And then added back in another fashion, whether it be cosmetic or transmog or crafting items. In some other fashion, it should be added back in a future date, or maybe add it back as catch a mechanic. But anyway, the problem is, I don't care about the solution. I care about identifying the problem. The faction shop right now has to go. It's ruining the game's gear, and it makes the game way less enjoyable to play. So that is a huge issue, and developers need to solve that. Good things about the game, the life skilling is probably the best in any game in the world. And you can look here at the graphics. It's obviously stylized graphics. It's not like it's the most realistic game in the world, but it's also not the most cartoonish game in the world, right? If you look at World of Warcraft, it's way too cartoony, and people don't really like that. You look at BDO, and it's so realistic that even the smallest blemish makes you just, say like, oh my gosh, that tree looks terrible, or that pop-up is terrible. And it causes the game a lot of headache. And I feel like New World has struck a balance between a stylized art and a good graphic style. I find the game to be super beautiful and have been really immersed. And you're going to see this. I picked this area here. It's one of my favorite areas in the game. Really, really incredible artwork across the board. Every zone has its own theme. There's like a zone where you have like a creepy, like graveyard vibe to it. You have another one where it's like everybody's been corrupted and they have been turned evil. And so you have this like almost like Oblivion, like almost Oblivion world vibe to it. Really, really fun. They also have nature, where basically nature is fighting back against the corruption, and they have their own like whole universe that they've taken over, and it has this. It's called Eden Grove, and it's just another super beautiful area. And I think they've done an amazing job. Apparently, they're doing a desert region in the foreseeable future, so that'll be kind of neat as well. So I think that anyway, like long story short, is they've done an amazing job with New World. And I think that anybody who plays the game will be quickly immersed in the game world, and it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You almost have fun doing anything in New World because it's so much fun just being a part of the game world. You're like, man, what's that over there? Yo, I don't mind doing that quest. Like, let's go do that. And I'm sure that new car smell will wear off in New World. But I think that's really the big draw to it. Is just the world feels immersive. Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing. The combat, big fights right now that are like 50v50, they lag out. It's impossible to play them properly. So that's a big issue. Definitely a problem point, for sure. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The in-game crafting we couldn't quite get to in 2 weeks. The highest gear you can get in the game is 600 gear score. It's very, very similar to Destiny. So my kind of prediction for the way New World goes in the future is every time they'll do an expansion roughly every 3 months. Similar to Destiny, it'll be like a season. They'll do one huge update to the game once a year. I think their monetization will be also very similar to Destiny, where you'll be able to buy a season pass. And if you don't buy a season pass, you can still play the game, but you might not be able to have access to 100% of the new content, or you might have to level up slower or something like that. We'll see how that goes. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of that, but yeah. And then I think they're going to creep with the gear score, so it'll be 600, 650, probably 600, 625, 650, 675, 700. And so on and so forth as time goes on. That's the type of thing that MMOs do, and I don't think this will be an exception to that. If you look at this game compared to Destiny, there's a lot of similarities, right? The world is very immersive. There's 4 main races, right? If you look at Destiny, you have the Hive, you have the Fallen, you have the Cabal, and then you also have, I can't think of the 4th one right now, but there's 4 races anyway. And in this game, you have Angry Earth, you have Ancients, you have the Lost, and you also have the Corrupted. Did I say Corrupted? Anyway, there's 4 races in both of them. There's a lot of similarities there. If you look at how the game is structured, you have 3 abilities on your class, right? And in Destiny 2, you have 3 abilities. So lots of similarities there. They have a cash shop. They say they want to avoid pay to win. Destiny says the same. We have a cash shop. We don't want to have any major pay to win in there. But they dabble a little bit in EXP. They dabble a little bit in like a little bit like boost here and there. So I think we'll probably see something very similar to New World's cash shop. I do not think it's going to be pay to win like other games we've seen. I think this will probably be the first MMO that doesn't have any major pay to win stuff, and that'll be very interesting. This is also coming at a very interesting time where we have games like World of Warcraft, which is literally falling on its face right now, just because of bad developer decisions. Or bad management, whatever the case may be, as well as BDO, also kind of just becoming more and more pay to win, and just souring the pot with its player base by ignoring major issues in the game that have existed for years at this point. So a lot of people are just looking for something new. I don't think New World is going to be a permanent home for people, mainly because I don't think there's enough content. There's not enough. There's not enough grind, And BDO, even though you kind of technically run out of content, there's always another piece of gear to grind for, and you want that gear because that gear matters in PvP. Well, in New World, your gear does not matter in PvP. In fact, leveling up currently actually makes you weaker in PvP because if you're lower level, you actually take less damage from higher level players. And so you actually get weaker by leveling up. Right now, the best level to stay is around 15, like between like 10 and like 40. That's generally the best levels to stay, somewhere in there. The lower, the better. Which is very, very strange that your gear doesn't matter and your level actually punishes you. And there's no in-game hard content to do. Where in BDO, there's always another harder level. That is encouraging you, like, hey, you want to get more gear to go to the new grind spot? You want more gear to do better in PvP? I definitely feel like they have a lot to learn in New World, but they have a very, very strong foundation, and they're not looking like they're going to be a major pay-to-win game, at least at this current time of the closed beta and what they've said so far to us. So there's a lot of hope for New World, and I think a lot of people have kind of lost hope for BDO or Black Desert Online. And people have kind of lost hope for World of Warcraft. And so I think that this is going to be a ray of hope. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a game you play for months and months and months. But I think it's going to be a game that you come back to when it has a big update, and you'll enjoy playing it then. And then you'll go back to playing whatever you want to do. So you'll play like Path of Exile for a couple months, come back to New World, play Final Fantasy update for a few months, come back to New World. And I think it's going to be a very, very solid secondary game to play whenever it has major updates. Similar to Path of Exile, right? You don't play Path of Exile until the next league comes out normally. You play Path of Exile, and then you take a break, and you come back to it when it has good content. And I think New World will be very similar to that. So I hope this video has helped you guys out. I wasn't really sure what to talk about in this. I guess if we want to have a list of good things, I think the crafting is amazing. I think the aesthetics of the game world are amazing. I think it's very immersive. It's very hard to become immersive. I think their idea of having weapons instead of classes makes the game scale very well in the future. You don't have to re-roll to a new class every couple months and re-level every couple months, which I think is going to be very enjoyable, hopefully. So I think they got a lot of things that are going for them in the right direction. Time will tell if developers are going to do a good job managing New World. We don't really know that yet. Bad things is faction gear. I think another bad thing is that there's leveling in the game. I think your character level isn't really needed for a sandbox type game like this. This is not a theme park type game. It never really was. It never really was supposed to be. But they've tried to force it in the game by adding leveling. I think leveling for life skills makes a lot of sense, but leveling your character just adds extra baggage to your character. It'd be way more fun to just go out and be like, hey, let's do the dungeon and get some gear. Let's go out and do some PvP and try to control a territory. Let's get more gear so we can go to a new area. These things would be a lot more immersive, a lot more fun. This arbitrary, you can't equip this gear until you're level 60. Why? Because we made this arbitrary leveling system that has no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. We just decided to do it to lock you behind gear. So I think it would have been a lot more fun if they had made it where you can wear gear once you're a certain level, or like sort of like RuneScape. RuneScape is a sandbox type game also, right? You can't wear certain armor until you have your defense leveled up. You can't wear certain weapons until you have your strength leveled up. You can't level. You can't chop down certain trees until you have your woodcutting leveled up. And I think New World can learn a lot from RuneScape, and instead trying to copy World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, I feel like they should be looking at games like Black Desert Online and looking at games like RuneScape or EverQuest that have done a really good job of this open world environment before, and see what things that they like from those games, and pick and cherry pick which ones they like and implement those into New World in a way the developers think is fun. And I think that will work out very well. Main thing is just play the game and see what you like about it. I think everybody who likes MMOs will find something they like. This video's gone way too long. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitch at Potion Shop TV. You can find my music on Spotify at Potion Shop, 2 words, and my main YouTube channel is Potion Shop. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my stream. Peace.